is a piece of lab-created emerald that was created by Chatham. The Chatham company no longer sells rough to us cutters, so when my last of my Chatham rough is gone, I won't be able to get any more, but I am working with 3 other labs that produce lab-created emeralds, so I'll still be able to get emerald rough. Now, BOPIE has a beautiful 14 karat gold and diamond accented ring, which was designed to hold a 4 karat pear-shaped diamond as the center stone. But BOPIE wants to put a pear-shaped emerald into the center stone instead of a pear-shaped diamond. The ring cannot be modified since it's already got diamond accents, so I've got to cut the center stone so that it fits perfectly. So I looked for a pear-shaped design, and I found one that I think will work. The gem fastening diagram was created by Arya Akhavan, and I've cut several of Arya's designs before, and I've enjoyed both cutting the designs and the look of the final gemstone that came from the design. So I'm confident that this design will look great with BOPIE'S ring. The design I'm going to use is called Alan's Challenge, and Arya said that he created this design for his friend Alan, who wanted an interesting pear-shaped design with a step-cut pavilion and a brilliant crown. So here is the design Arya came up with. Now, since I've learned how to use the basics of the Gem Cut Studio or GCS software, I've learned how to examine design. So I examined this design to see if I could improve the performance. Now again, let me explain what I mean by performance. Performance of a cut, I'm keeping it simple. I'm only looking at ISO brightness, head shadow, and window at the 0 degree tilt, which means I would be holding the gemstone in my hand in the light and looking straight down at the top of the gemstone, face up. Yes, I get it. There are countless ways to evaluate performance. They are all either as good as or better than my method, so use whatever you like, but I keep it simple, and that's my method. Also, I prepared a handful of videos on how to use GCS, so I won't take the time here to show you how to use the tilt performance or manual optimizer tools in GCS. You can click the link to a playlist where I have linked all the GCS tutorials that I know of, not just the ones that I made. Okay, so the tilt performance at face up for Arya's design, which was made for tanzanite but works for many gemstones, gives us a little less than 65% brightness, 35% window, and about 5% head shadow. But again, the performance would be what GCS predicts I would receive if I was cutting tanzanite. I'm cutting emerald. So I go to render and change the material in the GCS software to emerald or beryl and take another look at the tilt performance. Brightness increases to about 80% and window goes down to around 20%. Looks like a great design as it is written for my emerald project, but let me just take a quick look at the manual optimizer tool of GCS. There's a slight improvement in performance possible if I just tweak the pavilion facets a bit, about 3% changing their angles. Now with tilt performance, I get about a 5% improvement in brightness and a 5% reduction in window. The added benefit is that the pavilion will be a little less deep, which makes BOPIE happy as many of her mountings are designed for diamond, and colored gemstones in general have a deeper pavilion, which makes it harder to mount them in standard designs, which are made for a diamond. So I like this tweak on the design. And here are the revised cutting instructions. Okay, now I'm ready to start cutting the design, but a pear shape is more challenging than, say, a round shape or a square shape or a rectangular or emerald shape or even a triangular shape. So I need to cut the center stone for BOPIE'S ring at exactly the right length and width. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test cut Arya's design using this Chatham created emerald rough, and then later I'll use a larger piece of rough and I'll cut the design again if it works out, and I'll cut it to fit exactly into the ring since there's no room for error. So this will be my test cut of the pear-shaped design. So let's start cutting.
Hello everybody, it's BOPIE'S again. I would like to give you a quick update on the latest ring that we have done for customer. When she came in, she fell in love with Michael's Portuguese cut, and it happened to be the emerald. But the stone that she fell in love with was a little bit too small. Of course, we have a Michael, the gem cutter. Michael came through with the size that she likes. And then talking with her, I was able to create exactly what she likes. When she came in to pick up the ring, you can see her smile. She loved it so much, she gave me a second project. That's what I'm working on it right now. Now, everybody knows what to do after this video. Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, go back to Michael's adventure cutting. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
To put our Zambian emerald into our quill, we want to set the index at 96, and then for our stone, we want to put it in. It doesn't really matter which of these two parts goes on the top or bottom, but the top part from 96 in our drawing has more of an angle than the bottom part, so we'll make this the top part and put that at 96. So we just set the stone into the quill, orient it so it's about 96 like that, and we're ready to set the set screw and we can start cutting. I've preformed this Zambian colored Chatham created emerald with a 210 diamond grit topper lap and then a 340 diamond grit topper to basically set the size and shape of our pear. Now I'll go over the gemstone with my 600 grit solid steel crystallite lap. I've pre-polished the Colombian emerald, and now I will use the creamway lap from Gearloose with cerium oxide to polish it. So I used a 200 series topper, a 300 series topper. I went over it with 600 grit. Then I used my 12M lap, and then I pre-polished it with 3000 grit diamond on a bat lap, and so now I'm doing the final polish, and then I'll work on the other two steps. But I want to get the girdle and that base step polished. Okay, I finished polishing the first row. I still I'm going to go back and do two more step cuts, two more rows. But actually, you could leave this pavilion as it is, and it's perfectly fine. This would be a perfect pavilion for a gemstone, but that's not the way the design works. There's two more sets of steps, so I'll go ahead and follow those through. But I'll just use a 3K diamond, 3000 grit diamond on a bat lap for the next tier, and then polish it up. So I'll just pre-polish and polish. I don't need to do a lot of grinding because we're pretty much there. I finished polishing the pavilion of our Zambian colored emerald. Cerium oxide spray on a creamway lap worked great. So now I'll transfer the stone so I can cut the crown or the upper half. Okay, when you transfer the pear shape, you have to set it up just right. So you put your index at 96, at the 96 tooth, and the very bottom facet, the 96 facet, has to be set just right. So when it's that facet, you can see that facet, and when you can see it breaking the plane on our calibrated piece of metal that's sitting on my flattest lap, when it breaks the plane evenly, you've got it set right, okay? So that's why you have to set it right. You have to have the index set at 96. for this particular design to work. Finished polishing the table of our Colombian emerald, and ready now to soak it in acetone, or actually I'll soak it in Attack. I've got a jar of Attack that I'm going to test out, see how it compares with acetone. So I'll soak it in Attack and remove the two-part epoxy, then we'll weigh it, measure it, and send it off to BOPIE. This product is called Attack. It contains methylene chloride and is designed to dissolve two-part epoxy. I've been using acetone for years, and it works perfectly fine, and it's much cheaper than Attack. But I wanted to try out this product just to see if there's a significant difference between the two products. The good news is that neither product will eat through plastic pill bottles. Not sure what they make these bottles out of, but they work great. Okay, I've got my pill bottle. I put some Attack in it a couple days ago. I just wanted to see if it would eat through the plastic pill bottle. Acetone doesn't eat through the pill bottle, and neither does Attack, so that's good. I don't know what we make our pill bottles out of, but they're indestructible. So I'll put our stone in there and see if I notice a difference between Attack and acetone. So I'll check a little later. Acetone I would leave in overnight, but I'll check a little later and see if there's been any effect. Today I test cut another of Arya's designs. Now I feel I'm ready to cut a larger created emerald using this design, which will fit perfectly, I hope, into BOPIE'S ring that she has waiting. Like all of Arya's designs that I've previously cut, Ellen's Challenge is both fun to cut and produces a brilliant gemstone. However, it's a pear shape, and pears are generally more difficult to cut than, say, a round or a square or rectangular shaped gem. So, in my opinion, a brand new cutter should wait on this design until after cutting several other stones. Although I tweaked the pavilion angles a tiny bit using the Gem Cut Studio software, it wasn't really necessary, as Arya's design, as written, is good for cutting gemstones from quartz to zircon. I really appreciate Arya putting this design into the public domain for all of us to use. Thank you, Arya. And if you cut Ellen's Challenge, please let us know in the comments what you think of the design. I also tested out a product called Attack, which is a solvent for dissolving two-part epoxy. I'd been using acetone to dissolve epoxy up to now for years. Attack is more expensive than acetone, and acetone works fine. However, I will say that Attack dissolved the epoxy in 3 hours, which was amazingly fast. When I use acetone, it takes overnight before the stone is released from the epoxy. So Attack definitely works much faster than acetone. Is it worth the extra cost? It's my first time trying it, so I'm not sure yet. Again, acetone works fine, and if you're a cutter on a budget, I would recommend acetone. But if you have used Attack, or you have comments on the product Attack, please let me know in the comments. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.